cost of living. I mean, we're in a housing crisis, and in my opinion, and many others, we're in a cost of living crisis. And there's a lot of people out there. Um, the narrative is doing it tough. Um, and I mean, everything has gone up dramatically, right? Whether you're wealthy, whether you're not wealthy, at the end of the day, we're pumping the same fuel, we're drinking the same milk, we're eating the same bread. Um, unless it's sourdough and it's fancy, but you know what I mean. Um, where are we heading for the people listening to this? We got some people that are listening that are trying to make ends meet. They're trying to look for, like, I mean, our podcast is called Unemployable, right? So we're trying to get people to think outside of the box, because in my opinion, your university degree that's going to earn you your $200,000 a year and you're going to ride off to the sunset is no longer. I have personal friends, we have acquaintances, that are on very high income, that aren't living a very high income luxury lifestyle like they probably would have been 10 years ago. Everything has escalated so much. Where is it going? Is in your opinion, where is this cost of living going? I always talk to people, they're like, nothing ever comes down. So
It
there's a heading.
it doesn't come down. And part of this again is by design. So if you think about, we discuss in the cost of living increase, and we'd always talk about the tax creep, where all of a sudden our tax brackets, they are just set in stone, and through inflation, more and more of us are put into higher and higher income brackets. So that then makes sure that you have less money to spend. This is by design, the bracket creep, because again, we rely as a government, as a federal government, 50 something percent is income tax. So we now have big cohorts of baby boomers retire. You have a smaller dependency ratio, meaning fewer workers for the non-working population. And they go, oh, damn it, we need to tax those people more. And we are not, how are we taxing them? Well, mostly through income tax. So that bracket creep is definitely by design. This is not an oversight. We want to push this out there. We could change it. But in order to change this, we would need to make sure that income tax is less important. So that means something else must be important. And that's something else, whatever we tax, we'll have a lot of people lobbying against that. And so we don't do it because it is hard. So therefore, from that perspective, where are we going, you ask? Well, it will continue to go up. You will continue to see more pressures, because how do we drive prices down? Well, we could drive property-related costs down, which is your rent and your mortgage. And if you create a scenario in your head, for, we say on next Tuesday, your rent or your mortgage, whatever you have, is 50%. It's half price. Like, you would be heaps better off. Fuel prices wouldn't worry you. The higher beer prices in the pub, you don't care about this. All of a sudden, all your worries are essentially solved by just cutting this particular cost in half, just as a thought experiment. That, of course, won't happen. We could do a similar experiment with the high energy costs that we have in this country, which is an absolute bizarre thing, because we talk about so many things that we want that are linked to energy being dirt cheap. We want life to be more affordable, so therefore energy would need to be cheaper. It would make, mom and dads have a bit more money in their pockets. That would be nice. It also would allow us to increase our manufacturing sector. I mean, we talk about something like the National Manufacturing Strategy, which is great. It's a good document. It makes perfect sense to value add manufacturing in our export sector. It's good stuff. That means our value added export sectors are mining and agriculture. So we could smelter steel, aluminum. We could create steel here. We could create more food here. We don't export live animals. We make steaks here, whatever. But all of these things are stupendously energy extensive. And so if energy is half the cost, a third of the cost, all of a sudden those plants would be feasible. But energy isn't as cheap.
Is that by design?
I would say, well, it's not so much by design, but oversight. We talk about and I'm quoting the Australia Institute here, the lefty think tank, about the Grace gas road of Australia. So we do not tax our gas export decently. Qatar and Australia roughly create the same amount of natural gas, and Qatar earns something, someone looked this up online, I think it's something like 32, 37 times as much tax dollars from their exports. And of course, we'd say, yes, they produce things cheaper because slave labor is nice and cheap, and environmental regulations probably aren't as strict as they are here. And so I'd say, well, we should earn less than they do, but not by that order of magnitude. So that is a gigantic scandal that we don't do this. So the whole narrative that we say we have private companies pumping out gas, selling gas, because we couldn't possibly have a state-owned company doing this. Even if we had an absolute shocker of a gas company, state-owned gas company, Moron Gas Incorporated, if they were doing this, we would still make more money than we do at the moment.
Why wouldn't we tax them?
Well, this is all with contracts and
Deals
deals.
that have
It's
been done. That
probably,
What incentive does
someone's making money,
Yeah.
just not us.
and that's a scandal, because you can also push narratives that are not useful anymore. We say the gas industry creates jobs. I'm utterly unimpressed by anyone who says that they are creating jobs, because my main demographic really is that we run out of workers. So a politician that says I'm building that thing to create 100,000 jobs, whatever it is, I'm not impressed. I see this as a liability. So that's a major risk. I've done this fun analysis on a Saturday night yet again during the pandemic years, when you remember the pandemic. So we didn't know how the economy was going to play out. We took this dip, and we talked about potentially there will be this V-shaped recovery where we bounce up. This actually turned out to be the case. And so we weren't sure that this was going to happen. So we said, we know what to do to stimulate the economy. We do public spending. And so every state wrote wonderful infrastructure projects into their budgets. And then one Saturday night, I sat down, downloaded all those infrastructure budgets, and you just have to giggle, because you know it can't possibly all be built. There are nowhere near enough workers in this country to pull it all off. That's how severe the skills shortage is in this country.